it during the festival. In the instructions for your meetings for the festival, it says to make your thing fit on this, just use this as like a guideline for about how big your team model should be, because we're going to steal this mat. We're going to put it on a little table. If you don't have a shop or a way to build the table, that's okay. Use the mat as guidelines. You could even just make walls. I saw one team using tape to sort of mark it off. It's all fine. Just some way that give your kids a way to practice the game. And because it is slightly larger, I want you to cue it up. Oh, wait, where's the magpie? The magpie's over here. So cue it up to that corner over there. And there should be a little bit left on the other two sides. And that's okay. So we can take it in and out. So like Coach Kathy was saying, it helps your team get ready for the next level. It helps them understand like strategy. They learn a little bit of coding. And the FIRST program does a really good job of layering all the different levels of FIRST so that the kids grow with the program and all the levels help each other. It's very nice. So the point is continue building your team model, continuing following the guide, but this is something you're going to do in addition if you want to. And there's our little magpie. Okay, so the game. So the archaeologists need help from your team. You're going to build the field, like we just talked about. You're going to take some of the stuff you build during your meetings for the game, and then you're going to build a robot and you're going to write some programs. And then you're going to want to have a few sessions where you have your kids practice what to do if things don't go the way they think that they would, or if they are going well, how can we do better? Things like that. So the basic idea is that in the morning of the Explore Festival, they'll be presenting their model to the reviewers, and then around lunchtime, they're going to take the hub off of their team model. They're going to put it into a robot, and we'll run the games in the afternoon. So the field setup, you're going to have to build a couple of things. Most of the stuff you guys will have built during your sessions that come in your team meeting guide. One of the things you will have to build are the cones here. As you can see, it's just 3 pieces. The harder one down here is the hill with the goat. Capital GOAT, and your kids will get a giggle out of that. So you're going to use a base plate. We're making a little ramp. The team should put it together. They can do it. It's going to be great. And then you'll see placement in a minute. Oh, right here. So this is the field with everything set up. I don't know how to shrink this so that you can see everything. But basically, we're going to have the launch area like last year. If you were here last year, the launch area is going to be using that crease in the mat, just like before. And most of the elements are going to start over here in the launch area. There are going to be a couple of things that you place. So one is the excavation site model, which you build during your sessions. And one is that hillside with the goat. And then you're going to have 2 archaeologists. The poor things are trapped over here all the way across the field. They need rescuing. And you can see here, we also have the fossil pit and the dig site that's going to come into play in a minute. Basically, the kids are going to be pushing things out there. Over here in the launch area, we start off with the, oh, it's not a rover. It's called something. We'll go over that in a minute. They're going to start with this here.
Radar.
They're going to start, huh?
It's the radar.
Yes, thank you. They're going to start with it in home. That is not their robot. It stays as it is. You don't need to motorize it or anything. And then you're going to have 3 visitors. You're going to have 3 cones. You're going to have the cauldron or the pot. And then again, this year, we're going to have an innovative design model piece. So this you should have in your extra build bag. You should have, I think it came with like 2 or 3 of them. So you're going to have this. And what your team's going to do with this is they're going to build a mini version of their design model on there. We'll go over that in more detail, but the base plate has to be this. And again, the mat, because the mat's cardboard and it's folded, bend it backwards a little, run a brick separator or the smooth part of a Lego across the creases so that it's a little easier for your kid's robot to drive across it. So here's the innovative team model. I made my own. My imaginary team has a idea that archaeologists should take a chicken into the field and then they can have fresh eggs while they're working. That'll help them be healthy while they're hard at work. So, but this is an example. Basically, anything that they can fit on that base plate that represents their bigger model that they would be displaying in the morning would be super, super cute and helps them feel involved. Just make sure they remember to bring it to the table when they're competing. So it's very nice. Here we'll talk a little bit about building a robot. It does need to fit in that launch area. It does need to be the WeDo or the Spike Essential Hub. And then you do it has to be made completely of Lego. It's pretty straightforward, but even with how straightforward it is, like we're gonna see 80 different kinds of robots over competition weekend. It's gonna be great. The kids are so creative. Okay, so here's a little bit about strategy. They are young, and we are like gentle and sweet with them. So there's no pressure for them to do all of the missions. They should try it, whichever ones look the most fun to them, whichever ones they think they can do. Try to swap out who's programming, try to swap out who's building, who the engineer is, who's driving. Have them try out different things they should discuss. It's a really great opportunity doing all of this. There are 104 points possible. You don't have to do it. The robot has to start in the launch area. And here's the thing that's going to be a little bit tricky is the robot launches from the launch area. It completes a mission, and then your team can grab it and bring it back to the launch area. It needs to be really clear to the referees that the robot did complete the task. Like if they grab it and they push something into place, it's not going to count. But they can reset it, and that's okay. If it happens on accident, they just try again. And then there's one exception, the part where they're collecting those poor stranded archaeologists. The robot does need to return with them on its own to the launch area. Okay, on to the missions. All right, so they've got 2.5 minutes. We're going to run the game twice. The first one is the cones. They start in the launch area, and the robot needs to start with them and itself in the launch area and push out the cones one at a time to the dig site. The dig site is that sort of like U-shaped or C-shaped set of rocks. So if any portion of the cone or its base is touching any of the rocks in the dig site, it's going to count. It could even be a little itty bitty corner, and it's going to be counted. They don't have to be standing. They can the top of it could be touching a rock, and it'll count. Our next mission is retrieve the archaeologists. The poor things, they missed the bus. They need to get back to the base so they can hop on the Arctic ride. So they are positioned, as you see here. There's a little like gray line that's perpendicular to the main green line, and that's where the corner queues up to. If you're it's pretty far, so you're going to want to know particularly where it goes. And then once they get the archaeologists back to so of course it has to drive back. Once the robot brings the archaeologists back to the launch area, the kids then can pick them up in the launch area and put them on the Arctic ride. Which leads us to our next mission. So the archaeologists hop on board. The archaeologists hop onto the Arctic ride, or they don't. Maybe the robot doesn't bring it back, and that's okay too. Maybe it only brings back one. You're doing one at a time. You ran out of time. It's all right. So they can put one or none or both on there, but 2 max. And then it pushes out the Arctic ride with or without the guys to the dig site, the same dig site as the cones. And again, any part of it's touching any part of the dig site, we're going to count it. The archaeologists do need to be on top of it though. And they all need to start behind that launch line. And there's a footnote here, and position for scoring of all missions. So that's something to discuss with your kids. Make sure that they understand the strategy. If they want to clear the board and start over, it's okay, but the stuff they did complete won't count unless it's there at the end of the 2.5 minutes. All right, their innovative team model. Again, my lovely chicken on my imaginary team. So they can push it out and it touches any portion of the fossil pit. It's basically those 2 big rectangular stones. It can touch one, it can touch both. It's fine. You're gonna find out there's a bit of strategy to that one too. It seems simple, but we'll get there. So recreating mealtime. They want to reenact their discovery. We're going to take the large pot from the launch area. The robot's going to push it out to the fire. Again, touching any part of that wood or the fire is going to count. It does not have to be standing. It can be on its side. Let's see here. So visitors to the evacuation site model. So that model you guys built as part of your team meetings, we're placing it on the mat. The visitors start in the launch area and the robot pushes them out one at a time. And I put a very exaggerated example here on one of them. Even just the hair is touching the model. It counts. They're not standing. It's all fine. They could even put it on top if they want, as long as it's touching. Last but not least, visit the goat. So the goat is on top of the hill. Drive over to the hillside. Your robot can either be just touching the hill for points or on top of the hill for more points. And again, since it's end game position for everything, this will be what you do at the end. Or if your team wants to attempt it, they don't have to. So if it's touching or if it's on, different points, but you're going to want this to be last so that you can continue to do other missions throughout your time. And if you are done at 2 minutes and this is the only mission they do or whatever, it's okay. We're not pressuring them. Let's see. So 2 kids at the table per round. Team should make an effort to get as many kids up there, but we understand some kids are shy and there's, it's not worth the strain that's going to put on them. But if you can get them all up there, it's very nice. Encourage them to work together. 2 kids usually ends up being 1 kid with the gamepad, 1 kid positioning the robot. And kid with the gamepad can be talking to kid with the engineer that's setting the robot and helping line things up, and vice versa. They can be reminding each other what's next. Robot must always begin in the launch area. You can bring a tablet or computer to the table. Sometimes there's room to set it down. Sometimes there's not. And I know that's a big deal if it's a big laptop. So maybe make a plan. So go over the list with them, practice with the kids, 2.5 minutes. When we are at the tables at the event, we're going to ask parents and coaches to take us to a few steps back so the team can do their best and shine like the little stars they are. They're lovely. They can do it. And at the end of their 2.5 minutes, the referee is going to go over the points with the team members that are at the table. This is your kids' opportunity to talk to the referees about what they think they did and what they, how things went. The referees can't really coach them at the table, but they will walk them through mission by mission on what was successful. So the kids should walk away with the feeling like they understood how they scored. But they should feel free, like, oh, I think that my wheel was touching the hillside. They should speak to the refs. They're people, they're volunteers, they want to be there. Email us if you have questions. And when your kids come to the table, don't forget your robot. Don't forget I should have put tablet and your innovative team model. And the most important thing to always bring to the competition table are your core values. We want to have a good time. So questions? Should I go to the?
Yeah, there's a bunch in the chat. Would you like me to?
Yeah. Should I have?
Some of them have been answered, so.
Okay.
We're gonna. Where does the robot start again?
So the robot starts in the launch area here. So it's a quarter of the field. It's behind that crease line here. So it's a really clear line. And the kids can manipulate anything that's in the launch area. And if they want to, they can even take things out of the launch area. Like it starts with all these elements, the game elements in there. They don't have to stay in there. If they have a little space on the outside of the table, they can pull it out, they can hold on to it, they can set it down, they can move it, they can scoot it all to one side. Whatever they want to do in the launch area is hands-on. Absolutely okay. But once the robot starts to leave the launch area, the elements that it has possession of and the robot need to start behind the launch area and then run on their own outside of it.
I have a question.
Good job. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if we do a task one, kids can bring back the robot back by hand, or it has to come
Yes.
automatic. So
Yes, except
Yep.
for collecting the archaeologists, because the mission is collecting something. So the robot should collect the archaeologists if they want to attempt that one.
okay, so the
Everything
archaeologist.
else, go ahead. Sorry.
So archaeologist is the one where you don't want to do manual, but you want to have the code do that. Other than everything, the kids can bring it back, and the time will be considered 2.5 minutes if they do
Yes.
it automatically or manually. I mean, with or without coding.
Yes, yes. When it leaves the launch area, it should be running on program. When it returns to the launch area, they can pick up the robot.
Okay, I have follow-up. I know many people have questions. So upon follow-up, I read in one of the point you said, if let's say they miss something, you can ask the judge to restart the timer.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, not
okay.
restart the timer to reset the mission. So like if
Oh,
they're
okay.
pushing something out to the dig site, they drive past it and it's all the way to the hillside, right? They can ask the referee, and they should speak to the referee. Sorry, I must have skipped over that. They should ask the referee, hey, can we retry that one? And the referee will hand them the game element in the launch area.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the timer just kicks in. Once it kicks in, it's just complete. You can retry something if you want to just gain that point. Otherwise, you
Yes.
continue to the programming how it does that. Fair enough.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So and sometimes all it needs is a little adjustment in the launch area and it'll run perfectly, you know. So they should be encouraged to retry if they want to.
Sure.
I had a question on this, continuing.
Mhm.
So when you said you can bring back the GPR back to the launch area, right? Can you place it in a different place, or does it have to start in the same corner, like, or can you place it behind each of the cones in each of the times you bring it back?
Launch
For
area.
example.
So if you want to retry one of the missions, you have to bring it back to the launch area. And then the robot needs to push it back out, and you can only push one at a time. So
No, what I meant is when you bring back the robot, suppose I take one of the cones that you have in your figure, right? You
Uh-huh.
take it and you push it to the correct location. The next time, when you bring it back, if you lift it and bring it back manually, can I place it just behind the second cone, or does it have to be in the exact same starting point for each time I bring it back and move it?
Oh, anywhere in the launch area, like anywhere in the launch area. So they can move things around in the launch areas as much as or as little as they want.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a bunch of questions in the chat.
Okay.
Can we modify the robot between missions?
Yes, but it will take some of your 2.5 minutes. It's a strategic decision the team should make as a whole.
Are the programs pre-programmed or do they write them the day of?
That's up to your team. I encourage pre-programming and having a backup.
Um,
And also a heads up that
accessing,
it's hard to change at the same time. But 2.5 minutes goes really quickly.
Yes, 2.5 minutes goes really fast. I would prep your kids and run a few trials so that they feel what it feels like. And when there's a bunch of parents and everyone around them, it feels even faster. It's so exciting.
the festivals will be on December 6th and 7th, and signups will be at our next coaches meeting, which will be in October. So in a month. We're just getting through our challenge registration right now. So the festivals will be December 6th and 7th, and those signups for those will be at our next meeting. Can kids use
There are only
Canva
2
for
festivals?
presentations
Is that what
in
I just
addition?
heard?
Sorry,
They only
I'm sorry.
They only attend one. We have multiple locations and multiple dates. So hopefully you choose the day and site closest to you.
Right, but I thought I heard there are only 2 of them?
No, there's 2
There's
dates.
two dates.
2
We have
dates.
multiple events those dates.
What about
Gotcha.
December 13th? I think there was December.
We don't know. It depends on how many, the location for how many teams we have.
December 13th also is not, because of a venue change, they may be moving that back to the original weekend.
So
So we
there
don't
is
know that
no,
yet.
Correct.
but there could be December 13. There's a possibility.
We don't
If-
know. It'll come out in an
Mm.
email, so I would just wait for an email to come out with the
Yeah.
dates.
And it's in Riverside. So if you're not near Riverside, it's not going to matter to you. It's going to be that first weekend.
Can kids
Oh,
use
we-
Canva for presentation in addition to posters? I'm gonna say no. Like, we want to see their posters, we want to see their work. It's easier. You can't guarantee that all places are going to have access for a computer. And it's harder to judge that a student has done the work on Canva as opposed to with the poster. I love Canva myself, but it's hard to tell that the students did the work, and we want to see the students do the work. Because remember, this is about the students. Unfortunately, this is not about us and what we can do. It's about what the students can do. So showing a poster would be much nicer. Does
So
the
this
game
was the
score
idea.
count towards? Sorry.
The Canva idea, kids in my team, they came up with this idea and they really wanted to do the Canva slides. They are already doing it in school.
Mhm.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. They could take and print out their slides and put them on their poster if that's what they feel they want to do,
Okay.
but it has to be their work.
Yes.
Yep.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Does the game score count towards their final score for advancement?
Not at all. Not at all. We participate in it for fun. They get two chances at the table. We use the high score for their score. We don't post a leaderboard. I think I skipped over a whole section. Sorry. We don't post a leaderboard. We will give out certificates for the top score, but it's not like a parade, big deal. It's given with other awards. So
Yeah.
they are awarded for it, but we don't want the kids comparing themselves to each other. We want them to do the best that they can, like against themselves. Like, oh, I got 67 points at 67 points at practice, but look, I got 80 at at the event. So that's what we're hoping they do is they just try to excel a little further.
Does this mean the robot needs to build attachments for the retrieval of the archaeologist?
Maybe.
And then could you please explain the archaeologist retrieval mission again?
So the archaeologists are placed down at the other side of the field. They're lined up with those two little gray lines. There's two of them. They're on a 2x4 brick. It's a minifig on a 2x4 brick, and the robot just needs to go collect it and bring it back to the launch area, so that if they choose to put it on the Arctic ride, they can, or they can have them there. It gets them points bringing it back. It gets them points pushing them out on the ride.
Okay. This is a new one, so I'm pulling out my meeting guide. On page 8 of the team meeting guide, it says other Lego education sets are allowed and can be used to complete the activities, although specific instructions may vary. Does that mean Spike Prime is allowed?
Spike Prime is not allowed. No, they're
Neither
talking
is
about
Mindstorm.
the different Lego parts. So with your set, you would have gotten like extra bags of Legos, and those are for creative building. And we use a few of those for making the game set. Nothing in the game set's not in that box except for the actual like table. But the idea is that like you could go to your own Lego collection, or you could, borrow Legos from a friend or whatever, and add on more things. So like Technic would be okay, and Lego Car Wheels would be okay, and just as long as it says Lego, the brand, on the side of it. Like,
Can we petition for 3 minutes? Yeah. No, we're following First Lego League Challenge, so we're keeping it at 2.5 minutes. It gets them. You'll be surprised what they can accomplish in 2.5 minutes. Trust your students. They are amazing, and what they accomplish in that time is amazing. So trust your students. 2.5 minutes to an adult sounds like very quick, but to a student, when they're out there doing this, they do amazing. Locations will be mailed down as soon as we get done with our challenge registration. Where do the events happen? The events are going to happen where our first Lego League Challenge regional events are. So there will be some throughout the counties, throughout San Diego, throughout LA, maybe Riverside, Northern LA. We have 7 counties that we service, so hopefully there should be plenty of events, hopefully near you all. And then
I have a
they'll,
question.
yep.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I like questions.
Is there any dates in 26 for these events, or they're all in 25?
So we will have our Super Festival, which teams will advance from their festival in December to a Super Festival, which will be at our first Lego League Challenge Championship. And that'll be
Okay.
January 18th.
Okay, so if we want to want to do the festival, it's basically December 6th or 7th, roughly.
Right. We may
Okay.
have some off-season ones post that, but that doesn't qualify you to go to like our Houston event or our Long Beach event or any of those
Okay.
other big events where they get to meet teams from other parts of the world or other parts of our country.
Okay.
So these ones that we're having in December are official events, which will help you qualify for a Super Festival to then qualify you for another Super Festival where teams would get to meet other teams from around the world, where there's like a lot of teams.
Okay. And then
Yep.
the 2 rounds that we do, is it consecutive rounds, or you go once, then you go, everyone else goes, then you go next again? That's
Yep.
your 2 rounds? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
We'll stagger them, and we'll make sure you guys have at least an hour between your reviewing session and your game session.
Okay.
We know you need a little time to charge that laptop, charge the robot,
I have a question.
charge
So
the
do
kids.
these so the festivals are like showcasing what they have built, or is it like a competition? What kind of what
So
happens?
it's
Great
kind of
question.
like a science fair. They're all displaying like their team model, which is, you know, about the size of that mat. And then they should all have a trifold or a poster that they're showing, and they should all have like a presentation that talks about their learning journey through those guidebooks that you have with your kit. Basically, they research based on the archaeology theme. They were going to just research any little part of it. So like my imaginary team would probably research, what do archaeologists eat and how can we make it better? And they'd talk to them about their diet. So like just whatever path their curiosity takes them on, they make a poster about it, and they make like a moving model about it out of Legos.
And that will help to qualify for the Super Festival.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the only thing that goes into it. So they'll make a presentation to our reviewers that then you know, it's not like for points, but there is a ranking system.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep. So what if the
So,
entire
I
team
guess-
can? Sorry. I'm
so
sorry. There's
the
just a
question-
lot of questions in the comments that I want to make sure that we can answer.
Sure.
And I see you have some in there as well.
Yes, I have another question, actually, really quick. So the whole ranking system is based off the presentation, not on the robot
Right.
play.
Not the robot
Okay.
game at all. The robot game
Okay.
is purely for fun.
Yeah.
Got
Because
it.
it's not
and
an
education,
official
and
game
education.
yet.
Yeah,
Got it.
because
Okay,
they
It's only
don't
official
do
in the
it
state.
right. They don't do it in Houston. It's a California event.
But
Okay,
at the
thank you.
Long Beach event, the Long Beach Invitational, they do the game. And all the teams that are coming in will do a game.
Understood. Thank you.
Yep. If the entire team cannot make it to a festival, that's okay. As long as you have 2 students that can make it, you're fine. Just bring them, have them practice. If they know the entire team can't be there, have them make sure that they have practiced their presentation with just the students that will be there. But it definitely include that entire team in the game, thinking out their missions, thinking about what their poster looks like, helping the students that will be there, talk about their presentation. Have those students that aren't going to be there practice asking questions like the reviewer. Try to engage them prior to coming to the event.
And
Do
and
we-
I've seen teams do cute things like they have pictures of the kids.
Yep.
They're like, we wish they were here, like ways that, or have a bio on the poster. There's ways to help them feel involved even though they can't be there.
Do we have to upload everything in the folder before the festival? I'm not sure what everything means. You don't have to upload anything into our folders before the festival. So I'm not sure.
Is that an Event Hub question? So I don't think we're using Event Hub this year, are we?
No.
Okay, so nothing ever should ask you for files except for like your certificate for mandated reporting or something like that in the dashboard. But none of like the teamwork should be uploaded.
But you will have to print off your team roster from the first dashboard. And you want to make sure in there that everybody's got a nice green circle with a check mark. That means that they can attend the event. If they have a red circle with an X, you have to get that fixed before they can attend the event. And the biggest thing for that is the consent and release form is usually the number one reason why there is a red circle with an X. And we'll go over that at the next meeting, how to fix that and where that's at. Rough idea of where the events will be. San Diego, LA, Riverside, Northern LA. We went over all those. Confused on that no festivals will have tables. So if we don't use the tables to begin with, no issue. No, we will, all the festivals will have tables. You don't have to bring your own table. The festivals will have them for you. They will have a mat and all of the game pieces that you need. Most festivals will also have a practice table. That you'll probably have to bring your own pieces too, because they end up walking off, but they will all have tables.
I think maybe that was me saying sometimes there's room to set the laptop down next
Oh,
to
tables
the
to
game.
set the tables on.
Yeah, sometimes there's space to put the laptop down and sometimes there's not.
Right.
I would plan on your kids holding it.
Yeah. Can we
I have a question though. So last year I have received an email from the coordinator saying that you need to upload team materials before the competition, and I have uploaded few of my Explore team materials last year.
Not here, not in our region. We definitely did not.
Yeah, that was an old Event Hub prompt from the pandemic.
years?
When we did have kids upload like videos and stuff. And so the fields are there, but there shouldn't be anything in the email asking you to put stuff there. If anything, the email probably said, don't put something in there.
Right.
I mean, I agree. The email did come, but I think it wasn't mandatory. It was optional to put the material on the Event Hub. So there was an email came last year about it. I have a follow-up question. We are still using one hub for both innovation model and the game, right? One hub only with 2 ports?
Yeah, there should only be one in your model. And the idea is that most teams probably get their money and then they buy one Spike Essentials kit and then they have one hub. And so the idea is that if you have one hub in your team model, then you take it out and you have a way to like put it into your robot. If your team happens to be lucky enough to have the funding to buy 2 Spike Essential hubs, then you can have one in the robot and one in the model, but not 2 in one and 2 in the other. Like don't put 2 in your model. But
No,
the
I
idea
asked
is that you guys are able to function with the one hub that first asks you to buy.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to clarify is one hub with 2 ports because off the market you can get one hub with multiple ports as well. So I just want to make sure one hub with 2 ports is what is the requirement.
Yes.
Thank you. Sure.
So after doing the team registration, nothing to be uploaded. All of their work is gonna, you're gonna bring it
in
on the
person.
festival.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
All of these slides and the recording from the second half of this meeting, not the AB 506 part. Those AB 506 slides will be in the coaches folder, but not the recording. Will all be in our coaches folder after the meeting.
And the game guide.
Yep. Where are in San Diego can my team register for Riverside? Oh, we are in San Diego County. We do not know that December 6th and 7th are not going to be taking place in Riverside. Again, they may all be on the 6th and 7th. It just depends on the location availability. So we can't tell you that there is an event on the following weekend because we do not know. Do
The
the
other
Explorers?
thing, the
Go ahead,
other
Paul,
thing
sorry.
it depends on is how many teams register for an event. So the more of you that register, the more likely it is to have an event at a location.
But we don't. The Riverside, that date has probably changed because they're switching locations. So it probably will be the 6th and the 7th. Do Explore teams in grades 1 through 3 compete against other teams during the festival, or is it more of a showcase?
It's absolutely a showcase.
Mhm.
Absolutely. The only time it's going to feel like a competition is when the high score team gets a certificate, and they're going to get it along with their other certificate. So it's not full of fanfare. We want to celebrate all the hard work the kids have done through the season. We know it's months of work and hours of meetings and piles of snacks.
Yes. And wrangling of the cats.
Yes.
Is the game show where they run missions considered a competition? It is more of a learning type of competition. We want to see what they're learning, and it helps them to when they go to make that transition into challenge. So they're learning how to code, they're learning how to work together, trying it out. So it's more of a learning competition. Maybe competition's not the right word, but it's definitely for learning. It's going to make it easier when they do make that transition into First Lego League Challenge.
Really the only pressure they should feel at that table is from the clock. It's not from other teams. And really it's to make that seamless transition. Like this is their chance to walk up to the table in front of their peers, in front of their parents, in front of their families, and succeed. Like when they go to challenge, it is, their scores are displayed on a board. There is a lot more pressure. This is a low pressure way for them to get that experience at the table and hopefully gain the confidence. Like, I got up to that table when I was a second grader. I can do it as a fourth grader.
And being able to talk to the referees and advocating for themselves in a very small, safe way, that they can do this and feel comfortable. And it's just training them and learning early on what makes them feel comfortable. Because sometimes it's really hard for a fourth grader who knows they can see that they completed a mission and the ref didn't mark it down. The ref maybe didn't see it. And it's really hard for them to say, hey, wait a minute, I did that. Look, because it's difficult. So learning it here in a smaller scale is a much better, much more enjoyable way for them to learn how to self-advocate and to work under those time constraints. Will the tables be the same size as the map that came with the kit or a little different?
They are like an 1/8 of an inch bigger than the mats, so that mat doesn't get stuck in it. There's a note in the game guide that says to cue it up to the corner with the magpie, and there will be a little bit of like wood that you can see. And then that hill that has the goat on it will be a little bit on the wood. But that I don't want to try clawing it out from a perfectly fit table. And we don't tape anything down. We don't use dual lock. It just push it into the corner.
Everything that you have for the mat and in your kit, you can use there. We don't sell the tables. You can build one. You could ask an FRC, a local FRC or FTC team if they would help you build it.
They would love that.
Yeah, they would. How do we qualify for super festivals? Through the reviewers. They have a list of questions that they come through, and those are public knowledge. And the reviewers will come and ask questions of your team, and it's how well your teams present themselves, how well they can talk without, this is a big caveat, and this is really hard for some of you, without the coach's interference. I can't tell you how many coaches have interrupted the students, grabbed students' faces and made them turn to look at the reviewers, talking to the kids, standing behind them, making motions. Don't do that. That can affect your students' presentations. It can affect the reviewers, see it all. So make sure it's as hard as it is for you all. and your parents make sure that they are letting the kids trust the kids. Trust the kids.
They
This
can
is a
do it.
great process for them.
They can do it.
As you mentioned, the Arctic Ride is the robot. Is that the robot that the kids build for
No.
which we have the instructions?
Yes. Okay. So the Arctic Ride is the one that you build in the meeting guide. It's separate from the robot that your kids would make on their own. The one they make on their own should be a creative work of genius, and the Arctic Ride should be built exactly as the instructions say.
Yep. In my next email, which will probably be in 2 weeks to you all, I will have the exact dates and locations so you can start talking to your parents about events. That's the best I can tell you right now. There will be some in San Diego. There will be around. So expect in my next email, which will be 2 weeks, not this weekend, but next weekend, we will have the dates and the location so you can start talking to those parents. You may only attend one festival. Just like in Challenge, you register for one event. It would be nice if we had enough venues that we could all compete at more than one event, but unfortunately we don't, and we have a lot of teams. Should they build a team model that can be motorized, or can it just be a mock-up of a model? Will the team be penalized if it isn't coded?
I think it says it has to be motorized in
does.
the meeting guide. So follow those meeting guide instructions, except for the 3 exceptions that we have here in California: the mat, and those 2 models that we're stealing for the game.
Yeah. Okay, and then the next one, Tony, is probably going to be a great one for you. Can you explain more about the team model?
The team model. So the team model should be like a diorama built with Legos. And it should show some portion or all of it of the team's learning journey. You should have the kids build it. They should design it. They should come up with a plan. And you can do it in a variety of ways. You can pair them up. You can have them all work together. You can use any Legos. The only thing that's limited is the Spike Essential. The hub has to be Spike Essential, or you can't use those other Lego hubs. That being said, I don't think it says anything about how many motors and stuff. So you're really limited only by the ports, which there's nothing that says you can't get a little creative with that, except for, again, the clock. The kids have a certain amount of time in which to present, show their code, show their motorization, show the poster, talk about their learning journey. But as far as size, I would try to keep it about the size of that mat. I know we're not using it as an actual ruler, but you're going to want to be able to get that in a car and to your event. There's different ways to do that. You cannot glue it together.
No.
So
I've seen a lot of teams use their tables, their game tables, and build their model on that, and it makes it really easy for transporting.
Yep. And then just make sure you have an extra 5-10 minutes in your agenda for the day at the festival that the kids can go in there and repair if someone's arm is this way instead of this way, or a pillar fell over or whatever.
And then this next one adds right on to it. Tony, what you're saying
So
about
can they add any number of hubs in their model?
No,
Or
only the
just one?
one hub. That is really the big limiting factor is
and that's
one
the
hub.
Spike Essential, not
Yes,
the
Yes.
Spike.
Spike Essential and only one hub, not multiple
Only
hubs of
one
Spike.
hub, yes, and only Legos besides that.
Sounds good.
Right. I mean, and that counts the Lego rubber bands and the Lego rope, and if it comes in a Lego kit, you can use it.
And if you want to use a Star Wars Lego kit to build in there, whatever Legos you have.
Indiana Jones kits have a lot of good stuff in them for this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you explain what it means to motorize a model? There's several questions.
some moving part with gears or string, or it could even have something that drives across, or when you're working on the meeting guide, there's actually a way where it shows you how to motorize that, but that's not what we're going to motorize. You're going to motorize something else. And then it may, I did not check about this year because it's next meeting, but it might actually say that you need to use a light or sensor or something like that also. I don't have one of those game guides yet. I mean, those meeting guides. Yes. Does it say in there? I would follow what it
reading
says in
ahead
there.
of the questions. Which was it about model?
So it says a motorized part. Does it say they have to be using sensors or lights or anything like that this year? Follow what the meeting guide says.
I think the radar is built with a light sensor and a display. That's what like the first book says.
Yeah. Are we still using one hub? Yes, we just talked about that for the robot and the game. For the robot game and the innovation model. Yes. Do we still use the 10 sessions in the engineering book for this game?
No, so you'll want additional sessions. And okay, so I would recommend maybe 3 or 4 additional sessions for game stuff. And you can, like, if you're doing half and half, just have more sessions. And then I always recommend having an extra session or 2 for what I call squirrel meetings. But basically, like if your team wants to have robot races, or they want to explore something especially about chickens in archaeology or whatever it is, like they want to follow their interests, like I highly encourage making sure that you're not over budgeted on that time, so that you have enough time to follow what they're interested in. Go on a field trip, do whatever it is that they're interested in, like make sure you allot time for that. So yes, still do those 10 sessions, do some extra sessions to accommodate the game, and then give yourself a little cushion for kid fun time.
This one is a financial related question about matching and money in your first dashboard. Absolutely. You can use those funds that are on your dashboard after you register with First to buy extra robots, whatever you need. The only thing that you can't do with those funds in your dashboard is pay for your events. We do not have access to those funds. So please use them. Buy things for next year, whatever you need.
Actually, my question is how I can get the funds allocated to my team. That's the question.
Oh,
so
well,
if like your work is going to match, I would find a local nonprofit that would accept the funds on your team's behalf.
Well, they're donating it. They're donating those funds to First.
Yes.
And then you're donated to First. So that's something you'd have to talk to your company about, having them specify that they wanted those funds to go to your team number. So like when your company says those funds to First, you need them to say, we want this to go to FLL Explore team number, Yeah, we don't have access to any of that.
Since it's already done, and in my company system, it doesn't have that memo or field to input this kind of information. So can we still, like in First financial department, they can do more to allocate to my team?
That would be a question for First. I don't have that ability to answer that, unfortunately. It's above my volunteer pay grade. So, but you could definitely reach out to finances at firstinspires.org and check with them.
Thank you.
Yep. Is a model and a robot different?
Yes. So in the morning we have the festival where they show the model, have their presentation, and then their show me poster. And then in the afternoon here in California, we have a robot game in the afternoon, and that's when they would need their robot. I have a little example one here. So like this would be a robot, and a model would be more like a 1 foot by 2 foot Lego diorama.
Yeah. Is there an option to play the table game with some measures other than points, or just have points for the older kids?
No. I wouldn't know how to do that. Your team does not have to do the robot game because it doesn't affect your qualification for progressing to the Super Festival or Houston or Long Beach.
Yep.
There's absolutely zero pressure like if you're starting your team late or you've got a whole bunch of quiet kids or whatever the reason,
Yep.
you don't have to put them at that table if it doesn't make you comfortable.
And if you don't want to keep score, you can just even, tell your kids, we're just doing this for fun and we're just going to go out and see what we can do. And don't even let them know that there are points to it. It's up to how you want to present it if you feel like doing it.
Yeah. You gotta try asking the host at your event if the ref could just not tell them their points.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I would say it would be up to the head ref of that event.
Maybe in the future thing to have other teams offer the tables. We just will go without. Yeah, and you don't need a table. You don't need a game table to practice. It's just nice having those walls to kind of give some guidance so it doesn't kind of go off. But you don't need to build a game table. I mean, that is definitely not a requirement. I'm not the game table police. I'm not going to come to your, wherever you guys are practicing and police that.
Literally saw someone put like tape on a table at an event.
Yep.
And they measured the distance to models and they just put tape there too. And that's all they used. And they did great. It was really creative and
Innovative.
wonderful. Yeah.
Is Explore only for first through third graders? We have a team with fourth graders.
So it's by age.
It's by age.
So I reference grade a lot, but it's by age. So I would look on the website and see what the birthday dates deadlines are.
Yeah.
And I don't think it lets you register them if the birthdays don't work, right?
It's
in the
same with
dashboard when you register the children on your team, it wouldn't let you.
Right. And then once that child is registered and in the system, they're in the system their whole time they progress through all the programs. So is a first grader allowed? I thought they were with the pre-KK. So there is a first Lego League Discovery. And again, that's for 4 to 6 years, I think. I believe that's 4 to 6 year olds. So just again, it's at birthdays.
I will say I had a kid a few years ago that was like a week off, and I emailed the PDPs and asked for an exception, and they were able to grant that. So if it's like 5 out of 6 year kids are in the birthday and one's a month off or whatever, I would reach out to our PDPs and ask for help.
The next question, where does it say? It says right there on page 8, what does the team need? Lego Education sets. Lego Education Spike Essential is the motor, the sensor, the hub, the set that is referenced throughout this session guide. So that's on page 8 of your team meeting guide. And that's where it says that you need to use the Spike Essential.
This is
it's
your
very
hub.
narrow and tiny, and it's going to fit up that little ramp just lovely.
Yes. And you reuse this every year. You can reuse your Legos every year, but like your team reuses this every year they're in Explore.
Yeah. And you could put on the coaches channels too, if there's some team that's had one that maybe they've advanced up that they don't know what to do with. If you're worried about cost, you could always put that out there. Maybe somebody has one you could borrow. Their coaches are really generous like that too. Because again, they're all doing this because they understand what the value the kids are getting out of it. So you can do that. Is there an innovative project component similar to challenge at this level? No. It's just it's based on your model, your the way your students can explain their journey. I will put a flow chart for you so you can see how the judging goes in the coaches folder. And we have that for you.
And it's all on the resources page. If you sort of scroll down to the end, there's host resources.
Yeah.
That anyone can see.
Yes. Is the hub
Excuse
the
me,
battery? How is the hub different from the motor?
Oh.
So the hub has the battery built in underneath here. And then the motors are these little cube things here. And this is what would move to motorize.
Okay.
I have a question. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, you said if the kid is like a week off or a month off, email the PDP. And what is the PDP?
That's Kathy, Paul, and Sarah. We're the
Okay.
PDPs. We're the program delivery partners that run the First Lego League program.
They're the ones sending you emails about these meetings.
Okay, nice to meet you guys.
Yes. Can we use spare hubs from last year to be able to allow us to use 2 hubs?
If one's on the model and one's on the robot, it's okay, but you cannot have 2 on either.
Is there a height requirement for the team model?
No.
Nope. Is something you just want to be able to transport in your car easily?
And fit on a table. They're just standard tables at the events.
Yeah, and the nice thing is we do not have the students move the models into a judging room. The reviewers come to your tables.
Can we do the Velcro for the model so that it doesn't break? You know, this tiny Velcro things. That's
No, the dual lock is made by 3M. It's not a Lego
not
part.
a first. So if we can't make the dates for December, we are done for the season. No, you're done for the official season if you can't make them. But we will have other events. There'll be there's other scrimmages, off seasons. There's other ways for your students to participate. We just haven't gotten that yet. So the presentation is anything that you can think of related to archaeology.
Yeah. Just like it says in the meeting guide. So there's like little prompts to help your kids get started on their research. Which can be books, can be museums, can be whatever it is that they want to do to explore that and whatever you're comfortable teaching them.
And we are working with the Archaeology Society to get them to host like an open house or like office hours or some kind of Zoom meeting like this where students can come and ask questions. So as soon as we get that, we will let everybody know. Can the table be made out of corrugated plastic, cardboard boxes, and books lined up around the mat? Oh, you've seen, yes. Yeah, I've seen that too, James, where people are creative.
Yeah. Yeah. We did make it out of just like you could go buy a 4x4 quarter-inch ply and put it together, which does cost some money, but very little. But books would be great. I would do that.
I also did.
Sorry to interrupt. I noticed that this is being recorded. Will this recording be posted somewhere that we can go back and review later?
Yep, it'll be in the coaches folder.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, thank you. Somebody posted all of the ages. We go more by ages than grades because you might have a 6-year-old who is, maybe still in first grade, but wants to compete with Explore. So we kind of go more by ages. And again, it's up to the coaches too. And the parents, are they comfortable with those, working with older students? So it's just up to them. What happens if both coaches can't make the game? That's fine, but they have to be registered. You have to have a coach 1 and a coach 2 registered in compliance with AB 506 on your team roster. That's a first. That's a first.
Actually
rule.
had
That's
a
not
team show
our
up
rule.
last year without a coach, and I will say that the parents did need a little bit more information before they came. So if you are not able to go to the event with your team, make sure that whatever parents you leave in charge, give them all the information. Give them the coaches folder. Give them everything.
That's coaches folder and all that good essentials is probably going to be coming up. Do we have to use motors or can we use sensors, displays acceptable as motorization?
I have to look at the notebook and see.
I'm going to bring it to you tomorrow at lunch.
Can I be clear on that for in the October meeting? I'll have a really clear answer. I'm going to say you probably want a motor because it's more fun, but
kids like to make things spin and move, and they get excited when they're talking to them. Look I did this, I made this move. And then like I've seen teams where the kids are switching it and they're unplugging it and plugging the other end of it into another part that they wanted to motorize because 2 students wanted to make something work, and it's really fun.
But yeah, I'll have clarification on that on our October meeting.
Yep. Our October meeting is going to be after we close out our challenge registration. So it'll be the middle of October. I don't have that exact date yet because we're still
It'll
trying
be
to
after
figure.
it'll be after the 17th of October.
Okay, so probably
Um,
that Tuesday right after the 17th, whatever date that is.
We just don't have it set yet.
Yeah. All right, we got through all those questions. Thank you. Thank you all. I would start now with getting your kids registered into your dashboard. There's a really quick, easy QR code that you can do, because sometimes it takes the parents a little bit of time and making sure that they sign the electronic consent and release form. That's always the biggest one. It is a requirement. They have to. This is a requirement that has to be done if they're coming to an event.
In the coaches folder, I will put a presentation in there about how to set up the easy signups for your students. It is actually very simple. It's done with a QR code. And if you bring them all together, the parents just scan the QR code, or you can even send it home. It's very simple process. So I'll put that into the folder for y'all.
It is simple, but they still forget to sign the consent and release form electronically. Yes, correct. You only register if you want your team to come to the showcase. If you're just using this year as a practice year, definitely come anyways. Come and have your kids, bring your kids to the event, festival, so they can see what it's like. I guarantee you it's going to get them excited. You can come and attend any event. They're free. The festivals usually run in tandem with a First Lego League Challenge event. So yeah, come on, bring your kids so they can also see what they can work towards next after that. I know it sounds like a lot, but once you get there and you see the kids and you see how excited and see them working, it's not as daunting as it sounds. I know wrangling kids to try to get them to come together to do something can be challenging. It's all in how it's presented to them. And James, I see you have your hand raised.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I can. I was wondering if you could just back up a little bit to this Arctic Ride explanation. So there's the Arctic Ride described in the Spike app. That's one of the lessons. And then what I thought was called the excavator, which is apparently the radar model. So that radar model, that's what you're holding up there. That's what's on the game table.
Yeah, this is the one that's on the game table.
Okay.
Just as it is from the meeting guides.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, there'll be nothing on the game table that you do not have in your box.
Okay. And
There's
then
no surprises.
They can take that and the excavation site from the team model and put it on for the game table. So we bring those pieces ourselves.
No, they'll have them at the competitions.
Okay.
You'll bring the team's robot. You'll bring their little mini model, and then whatever like tablet or computer. That's all they need to bring to the table. If they want to bring up like a page with notes on it or something, like this program for this mission or whatever, that's okay too. But like we don't want to overload them. They don't need to set the field when they get there. They can manipulate anything in the launch area, but the referee will have the field ready for them to go.
If I have a team that's ambitious enough, can they swap out parts and attachments in between missions?
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's
as long as it's
up to
back in
them.
the home base, right?
Yeah, if it's in the home base, they can manipulate. And it has to be Lego, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'd like to add on to what Kathy was saying earlier. The thing I tell new coaches or young coaches is the hardest lesson they really learn isn't the programming or the building or anything like that. It's learning that you can do this and that your kids can do this. I know it's easy to hear, it's easy to say, but like honestly, we all get so nervous when they go up to that table or when they start their presentation, but like just sit back and watch them shine. They can do it.
They do. I remember, I think it was the first year after First had released the game and decided they weren't going to do it. And a coach was like, no, my kids, we're not going to do it. This is way too hard for them. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And it was at an event I was at. And the kids got there and they saw the kids practicing at the practice tables. And they were like, we want to do that. And the coach was like, oh, I thought it would be too hard. Those kids went and they programmed and they learned how to code it. And they got out there having never done it at practice, and they get out there and able to compete and do missions because they saw other students doing it and really, really wanted to try it. And they did amazing. And that coach just let them go with it. And they did amazing. And yes, we are always more nervous. And as adults, we put so many more limitations on ourselves and think, oh my goodness, this is too hard. This is too much for them. These kids are amazing what they do, and their excitement and enthusiasm. Catch on to some of that. It's contagious.
It's really nice. Have snacks. Have snacks ready.
The excavation site and the radar has to be part of the model? Question mark. And then can
no,
we take the
we're using that for the game. So for Southern California and Central and North, if they do the game, there has to be an exception for your team model that you don't have to have the mat and you don't have to have those parts. It says that it has to be built in your team model. It does not, because we're using it on the game.
And we'll make a note or just a separate reminder in the coaches folder about that.
Yeah. And your reviewers will know, your reviewers will not be expecting those things to be there. If you do qualify to go to something like Houston where there is no game, you might have to change things up a little bit, but that's 1 or 2 teams out of the 200 teams here. You know, the teams that go to Long Beach, we will have a game and the same exception will be made.
Yeah, if we get a bid to Houston this year. Last year we had 1 bid for the entire state. We had it. If we get 1 bid for the entire state this year, NorCal gets it. So it just varies on how many bids to Houston we get. But we usually have like several bids to Long Beach, which is another 3-day event, and it's all First Lego League. So it's all about them, and it's super special and it's amazing, and they have a great time.
And the Super Festival, we have the game. The same game for the Super Festival. So the same exception will be made there.
The Long Beach one is a whole brand new game. New question. Is there a limit on the number of motors they can use on the team model?
If it doesn't say it, it's not a rule.
Only 2 ports, so only 2 motors max.
Well,
the Essential Hub only has 2 ports.
Yes, that is a limiting factor. That being said, it's not a rule. You can only have 1 hub. That's a rule.
So that means only 2
have
ports.
more. That's not fair because my students want to use more of the motor parts, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing that says that you can't. There's like, if you want to have more motors on there, you could. It's just like, how do you turn them on if you're only allowed 1 hub?
Yeah. And only 2 ports. You can only have 2 ports. Can they move the hub during the presentation of the model?
Yes. But it has to be the same hub.
Yep. And you only have a specific amount of time, right? So the kids only have a certain amount of time that they're talking about their model with their reviewers. Like I said, I'll put the flow chart so you can kind of see how the judging flows and how much time they have to talk about each section. Yep, you can definitely move the hub around if you want to, and you're not worried that the kids are going to break their model. So only 1 hub in the model. If we have 1 for each kid.
No,
we'll only 1 hub.
We'll only count the 1 for the reviewing.
Yeah. But I have seen, I don't even remember what the cables are, the cords that plug into the hubs and then into your models. I've seen them take that and switch it and move it to other models that each kid wanted to move.
But just like the attachments on the robot, it's a time decision. You only get X number of minutes, and practice will help, but you still have a time limit.
Yep. I know it's so hard because every kid gets so excited because they all put their heart and soul into their section of the model. So I get it. They want to they all
so
want to make
nice.
it
Your team
more.
has 1 for each kid. They're all
I
working all
know.
the time. That's awesome.
So we do not need the radar for the model, but we should be suing the motor sensors to create moving parts using the motor.
You should be using them to create the moving parts. Absolutely.
Yep.
And use your hub. Like the idea is that you take the hub from the team model during the festival in the morning, you pull it out and you put it in your robot for the games in the afternoon. And I don't know if you were on earlier, but we will have at least an hour from your reviewing before your first game, at least an hour. We'll throw lunch in there and make your schedule so that you have enough time that if your team only owns one hub, you have time to switch it over.
How many games is it per day?
It's 2 games. They get 2 chances. And we do record the scores, but we don't display them. We award the high scoring team with a certificate. But that's the only time the kids will hear another score is who the winners are. If the model is not scored, does it really matter how many hubs? They won't be allowed to run their robot if oh no, the model is scored. I'm so sorry. The model is ranked. It doesn't have points associated with it, but deciding who progresses to either the Super Festival or Long Beach or Houston, we will only record score. The reviewers will only record scores on one hub. So if you bring more hubs, the reviewer can't even look at them and record anything about them. If you bring non-Legos, beside the Show Me poster is obviously non-Lego. But as far as your model goes, it has to follow the parameters or they just can't consider it.
Mm-hmm.
They do receive a certificate for participating in the festival from the morning. And it will celebrate whatever your team shown at, which is really fun because every team has a different learning journey. And if you go on that resource page, there's a list of suggested awards, but there are more.
Okay, I just put a copy of the flow chart in the Explore folder for you all, so you can kind of see what that looks like. It's 15 minutes that you have with the reviewer.
And the certificate at the end, they do a high five ceremony. We'll go over this, all of this at the next meeting. I have a whole slideshow for you guys, but like what to expect that day. But at the end of the day, every single team will go across the stage for the high five ceremony and celebrate what's shown about their team.
One more question. We're in session 5, and since you're going through all this information, at what should we start talking to the kids starting, I guess, this session in terms of what the strategy would be? I mean, obviously, we have a strategy of what we're going to do, but we're just learning about what the requirements are for, I guess, the
game.
Yeah, exactly, the game.
So I would leave it up to you. Like as a coach, I liked to break up my meetings, like maybe 20-30 minutes and then have a little stand up stretch, touch grass, have a snack break. So like if you do like a little session on research, a little session on building, and then you want to talk about like game strategy or things like that, like it depends on how you run the meeting. Or if you want to dedicate a whole meeting to game strategy, then I would take a few days, like coach, have a look through the manual so that you can answer their questions.
Yep. Andrew, thank you for sharing that. I'm excited because they started. So we created a flow chart years ago for our judges, and that's what we've been using. And we shared it with First, and now First has modified the flow chart for them. We're probably still going to use ours because ours is a little more specific. And we don't do live feedback for the teams for Challenge or Explore. So, but that's exciting that they've got it out there now. I'm excited.
Yes.
right.
Last year it was noisy and the judges couldn't hear the kids. So there will be probably 3 teams presenting at once, but when we make the pit maps, we separate them as much as possible. And we train the reviewers to get as close as they can to the kids. And we really encourage your parents to take a step back. Coaches, of
Many
course, you
events
should
don't allow the parents even in the reviewing.
Yes, I think more than half kick all the parents out too.
Yeah.
And then even at sorry, even at my daughter came home, even at the Super Festival, we ask all the spectators and parents to leave during the during the reviewing session, and only have the teams in there that are actively reviewing. So we do the best we can, but it really depends upon the space. Encourage your kids to speak up, encourage your parents not to. It'll help
yourselves.
Yeah. But yeah, we're all doing the best we can. Moving the model to a classroom really stresses everyone out, even with like wagons or help or whatever. You'll spend just as much time like fixing things, and then and sad little people happen because things break every time you move it.
You will be getting feedback. There was a question, will we get feedback? Yes, you will get your reviewing form with some feedback from your reviewers.
Yes, the reviewing sheet you will have access to.
Yes.
In Houston, they have small little booths for competing Explore teams, way less noise. Yes, you still had to move it. Oh no, I was at Houston. We judged at the pits. We reviewed at the pits. Yeah, right where you set up. They did ask Challenge to leave during the reviewing session, and I think that was a big help. So most sites do have Explore and Challenge separate, but not every one of them can do it. Like I said, we all do our best with the space that we have.
They will need a presentation, yes. But if you follow that reviewing sheet that I put in the coaches folder, you'll be great. And again, if the kids are having trouble speaking, the reviewers are not going to call out on some student that's having trouble like communicating. But generally they just get so excited to share what they've learned and their model. They love to talk about their model. So yes, they will have to have some sort of presentation. Yep, questions and answers, and that'll be the judges will ask questions. Mostly about their models, like what was their favorite part of their model that they build, what was their favorite thing that they learned, those kind of questions. So it'll just go along. It's not going to be some random, out of the blue. So what do you think archaeologists do? It's going to be something that is within their realm.
It says team presentation, 5 minutes at the beginning of the flow chart. So they should have like a little introduction. Hi, we're the archaeologist chicken lovers. In a cheer, and then they should have a 5-minute presentation. Or if it's 6, the reviewers aren't going to stop them.
I'm confused because in the picture that you posted in the team in the coaches folder, it says welcome 2 minutes, core values questions 2 minutes, poster questions 5 minutes, model question 5 minutes. There's no presentation section.
Try looking at the link that's in the chat. Maybe they got swapped out.
That's a different flow chart. So
so that's the one for Explore. It sounds like you're talking
about. Is that
about
the one we're using this year, Tony? Tony, is that the one we're using this year?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
I will update it.
The one that you have in the chat is the one for Explore. The one that he's talking about sounds like it's for Challenge.
No, the one that I posted, I just posted. Yeah. So their team model and poster is just where they're talking and sharing about their poster. I can change the titles of those. It's more where the team is sharing and about their poster. They're talking about their poster. They're talking about it. The reviewers are asking questions about it. They're going to ask about their model. The kids are going to be excited to share and present about their model. They're going to want to show what they have that works, what doesn't work. So that's where
more like we're following the first official flow chart.
Yeah. So it's more sharing. Maybe presentation is the wrong word. Maybe it's sharing. They're sharing what their students have, what your students have learned. They're sharing. They're excited. It's not really a presentation per se. It's more of a sharing what they've got on their poster, sharing what their model does. They're going to want to show how things are moving. That's what we mean by presentation.
They definitely should show their model moving. They should show their code. They should show the things they research. They don't have to. There's not like a guideline for what should be on the Show Me poster, but there, like, if you look at the picture, there's a little example there that talks about like team intro, and for me, that's more of like the core values thing.
Yeah.
So some teams will have that on there. You don't have to. There's not like mandatory things that are needed. I will say, like,
a lot of teams.
That rubric that's listed on the resources page does have a pretty good outline of the questions and what the reviewers are looking for, as far as like how we mark down whether the team is a beginning team or an advanced team. So like that's what I would look at as a coach, but it's not a requirement. Like there's very few requirements, like the One Hub and use Legos thing, having a team model, having a Show Me poster.
Yeah. Yes, the Show Me poster and the team poster are the same things. Yeah. It's just different terminology.
Yeah. And as far as like the presentation, it can be something as advanced as like a script that they know by heart word for word, or like them just taking you on a tour of the poster and the model.
Yeah. But it's good practice for them to introduce themselves. Like, hey, my name's Kathy. I really enjoyed building our model, or I enjoyed coding our robot to go out and do a mission. But it's getting them used to talking to the judges. Remember, this is just getting them used to having people come to their pit, getting them used to talking to judges. Introducing themselves is a great skill. These are skills that they're going to learn that are going to carry them through life, right? I've known a lot of adults that have a very hard time introducing and talking to themselves, introducing themselves, talking to others. So these are skills that we're wanting to help these students learn. And by practicing them at your meeting, practicing them, at an event, that's what we want to do. We want it to be a safe, stress-free thing. This is not meant to be stressful for you. It is not meant to be stressful for the students.
I put a link to the resources page, and there's all sorts of things on there that I think will help guide you. But like I said, follow the kids' interests more than anything. That's what matters, and that's where a lot of the creativity will come from.
Yep. All right. So we've been on here now, taking up an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes of your time. So if there's no other questions, I'd really like to give you guys back your evening. But thank you all for coming tonight, and we will have a meeting in October. It'll be, what did Paul say, after the 17th, after the 4th. So probably the 21st of October.
And should they be ready to register by then?
Yes.
Okay.
Ready, yes, but I know there'll be some issues with if